Hi, welcome to the Tech Guy Quick Take, one of short videos that are going to come out every now and again for the Tech Guy subscribers, which are short takes on what's going on. Not as long as a podcast, which I really don't have time for these days, but just enough to keep your whistle wetted, so to speak. Today's short take is about pot. Now, for many years, we were told that pot is not good for you. And when my wife was a school nurse, there was a big chart in her office that showed all the different parts of the body that were affected by marijuana. Now, the medical science hasn't actually changed. Pot is still not good for you, and if you know of anybody, if you know potheads, and I've known potheads in my life, you'll see that a lot of potheads are not people you want trusting with your driving, people that you want trusting with your car repair, people that you want trusting with anything, especially if they choose to use it recreationally a lot. And now that it's going to be legal, it's going to be used an awful lot more. But what's really funny is that the state decided that pot wasn't all that bad for you once they started taxing it. And once people who had connections in the state got the concessions to sell it, as of what happened here in Massachusetts. So now you have the state over there, well, pot isn't really bad for you, and we're going to let people sell it. And of course, it brings the effects out to a lot of people. But California has now discovered that there is still one type of pot that's bad for you, and they don't want you to use. Untaxed pot. Yes, that's right. California's revenues from pot are way down below what they expected. And the question is why? Well, there's an old saying that says that if you tax something, you get less of it. And once you started taxing pot, you had less people buying it from the legal outlets. Why should I be afraid to buy pot from an illegal outlet after all? If pot is legal, it's not a crime to buy it. But if the seller isn't paying the tax or the seller doesn't have a license, that's the seller's responsibility, not the buyer's. So a lot of people who were drug dealers before pot was legal are still drug dealers when pot is legal because, hey, that's what they were doing. But they're not charging the tax, because they never charged the tax. And that's because, why would they charge the tax? They never had before. So suddenly their pot is undercutting the state-sanctioned pot. And suddenly California is really upset, not because of the problems of, people driving while stoned or working while stoned, or pot as a gateway drug to other drugs and so forth. Those things aren't a problem anymore. The problem is now California might not get the taxes that they expected to get. They might not have the money to spend. The people might not get the power who wanted the power from the cash and so forth. So that's become a crisis. And that's where the new drug war is going to be. The new drug war is not going to be against people using drugs because drugs are bad for them. But it's going to be because people are using untaxed drugs and the state is missing revenue. Now, you're going to get some arguments about, well, state-sanctioned drugs are going to be safer. And there's some truth to that, in that you're not going to have, a legal store is probably not going to mix in things that are going to kill you or something. But I just find it amusing that we've gone through that circle, and I want to leave you with this prediction. You remember the tobacco settlement many, many years ago, where a deal was made that the tobacco industry would pay X amount of dollars to the states, and the states would start suing them. Eventually, this is what's going to happen with marijuana and other drugs. Eventually, it's going to go full circle. People, once they start finding the costs of drugs, once you see lives starting to be destroyed by drugs, once you create a permanent junkie culture, and that's what's going to be created, permanent junkie cultures, especially among the young, people who are going to start using pot when they're young because it's legal and will never stop and will never amount to anything. People who are going to have to be taken care of. You're going to have a permanent junkie culture, and you're going to, because of that, have lawsuits. And once those lawsuits start hitting the cannabis industry, you're going to have a tobacco-like settlement. You've heard it here first. So, to all of you guys who thought that this was a good idea, as you sow, so shall ye reap. Well, this is Pete the Tech Guy. I will see you next time on the Tech Guy's Quick Thoughts. And if you want to get these quick thoughts whenever I decide to make them, right in your email box, go to the Tech Guy blog site, hit subscribe for any amount, and when I make the next one of these, because this one I'm going to make public for everybody, in order to get, I'm going to be like the pot dealer trying to get you in. But this one will be free for everybody. But after this one, you want them, you're going to have to subscribe, or you're going to have a subscriber send it to you. Anyways, this is Pete the Tech Guy saying so long, God bless. Now if I can find the button from this angle. That's not